It's Monday. Time for another one of my videos. Thank you for joining me for some more Bitcoin price action analysis. Hope you're all well and you had a cracking weekend. Right, let's get on with the price action analysis. So this is a 4-hour time frame as I randomly move my cursor all over the screen. And as you can see, really since here, which was Thursday, Bitcoin has been trending down on the 4-hour. So we've got a high here, lower high, and probably a lower high sort of brewing in and around where price action is at the moment, and clearly a couple of lows along the way. Also, it remains below the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, the 20 SMA, which generally speaking means that the trend is in that direction. So yeah, certainly the trend is to the downside, as was kind of expected really towards the end of last week. So the question is how low is it going to go? And I might be able to shed some light on that question, shed some light to answer that question. You can see the momentum's, it's kind of slowly building, even though Bitcoin is coming down, although nothing significant. Just on the 4-hour time frame here, Bitcoin needs to close a 4-hour candle above 93 to keep this green, but it's quite far away from the zero line, so momentum on the 4 hours definitely still to the downside. Now, if I switch over to the daily, you can see a similar thing. So there's this whole kind of consolidation. Well, it wasn't really consolidation, but it wasn't impulsive. There's nothing impulsive about the upside price action, but it was upside nonetheless. And you can see basically the reverse is now going on. So Bitcoin is living below the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, the 20 SMA, and it's kind of slowly working its way down. Has, picked up some support so far around that kind of 92 mark. And it looks like there are still 6 hours to go, but it looks like it might not close below there today. So maybe not a breakdown today, but certainly no case to start thinking about upside either. At the very minimum, for more upside price action, Bitcoin needs to get back above the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, which is coming in at 99,000. Now, that was 100K last week, so it's come down a little bit. From the point of view of momentum, yeah, it looks like as of yesterday, the MACD closed below the zero line, and indeed will continue falling unless in the next 6 hours Bitcoin gets back above 96 and a half. So I think it's probably a bit unlikely, even though today has been a day of sell-offs and then rebuys. But I would imagine that most of the price action is probably over for today. That may or may not be true. So what about, excuse me, so bearing in mind now that the daily momentum's to the downside, the 4 hours to the downside, so the lower time frames, momentum's definitely to the downside, and you can see clearly on the 4 hour that it's trending to the downside. This is a downtrend, and not, yeah, it's downtrend on that area as well, with this being a local high, this being a lower high. Hasn't quite made a lower low yet. Now, what are the targets for a pullback, right? So I think we've established that the uptrend is no longer continuing, and therefore a pullback is by definition the next move. Now, if I take a Fibonacci from this low here all the way up to the top of price action, which is the current all-time high coming in at 108 and change, and you can see that probably the biggest pullback of that in terms of Fibonacci would be 80K. However, what makes more sense from a point of price action, I would think, would be somewhere between 382, which is at 90, and the 0.5, which is at 85. I would think, and clearly no one knows what's going to happen. No one can tell what price is going to be in the future. But I wouldn't be surprised if that is basically what Bitcoin does, and then gets back above here before ka-ting, zooming back on to another new all-time high, i.e. continuing the bull run into 2025. Clearly January is approaching rapidly, with only one more day left of 2024. So it's very unlikely that there'll be a new all-time high in 2024, and probably more likely that price actions maybe will pull back a bit more, but probably low 90s is what Bitcoin's going to be doing at the end of 2024, which is actually a fantastic run. When you think about what Bitcoin has done this year, apart from this 6-month terrible, there's no other word for it, but terrible consolidation period. But 2024 has proven to be a very profitable year for Bitcoin, to the tune of something like, depending where it ends, 120%. So there are many assets that perform as well as Bitcoin does. So thank you, Bitcoin. Anyway, I think that'll do for the price action for today. So yeah, at the very minimum, Bitcoin needs to get back above, well, it needs to get back above on a 4-hour 95 for more upside. On the daily, 99. And in the absence of that, particularly with momentum positioned as it is, more downside is likely to be the flavor for the rest of 2024, and then maybe into the first week of 2025. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.